It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome. It's the Jill on Money Show. This is the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. And boy, do things get mysterious come December. If you've got a financial question, if something is going on, something big, something small, whatever's on your mind, we would love to hear from you. Both Mark and I are certified financial planners, and that means we like helping you get to where you'd like to go with a few different options. So get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. That's what JJ did. JJ joins us from North Carolina. We've already talked about Bill Belichick, and we're done with that. So JJ, welcome to the program. We will not belabor the issues that plague your dear state.
Thank you so much. I'm a huge fan. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, we are delighted. What's going on? How can we help out?
Some of our main concerns right now is kind of when we can realistically retire. Mm-hmm. And I have a SEP IRA, and we're really looking to put more towards Roth at this point. Mm-hmm. But I get confused with kind of how to convert that, and if there's like the pro rata, or if I should open a solo 401k.
So tell us a little bit about the we that you are referencing. You said we.
So it's myself and my husband. We're both 52 years old.
Okay. Do you have kids?
We do. We have a junior in college and a junior in high school.
How are you paying for college, and how do you contemplate paying for college with a high schooler?
Pretty much we have the 529s that are fully funded.
Okay, great. Superb. And you're both working full-time right now, right?
That's correct.
Okay. You're self-employed, just you?
I'm self-employed, correct, and my husband's a W-2.
Okay. So as you, self-employed person, what is your actual income? Don't do the whole like, oh, I have the company pay for all these different things. Like, what are you claiming on your tax return for income?
On average, about $120,000.
Okay, great. Your husband, how much does he earn?
So on average, about $170,000.
So you're putting money into your SEP. Is he using a 401k?
Yes. So that's our other question. So he maxes out the 401k, but he's been putting a lot into the pre-tax 401k, and then he was also putting stuff in the Roth 401k. Mm-hmm. So we're wondering now at this point if he should be putting all of it in Roth 401k.
Okay. So right now, how much is in his traditional 401k?
So in his traditional 401k, they just had a company merger. So mm-hmm. the previous employer here, he has about $1,050,000.
Oh, that was a big number. I wasn't expecting you to about $1 million. Like you were very nonchalant. Okay, $1,050,000.
And then now, since the company merged in the new 401k, he has 22.
Okay, so $1,070,000, let's call it. And then what about his Roth?
Old employer Roth 401k, he has about 90. Mm-hmm. And then the current employer Roth 401k, he has 31.
Are they going to roll these plans together, or do you have to make a decision about whether to roll them out? Like what are the choices for him?
It seems like they're kind of distinct from each other.
Okay. I mean, you could just roll one into the other. Where's the new plan held?
The new one is held, I think it's at Fidelity.
Oh, okay. That would be helpful if that were the case. Okay. And so he's maxing out, including the over 50 extra contribution that he gets to do, or
right? So is that
okay?
30, 31?
Yep. And what about you in the SEP? What have you been doing? You've been mostly trying to max that out. Like about how much are you trying to put in there every year?
Yes. So I just ask my accountant every year, what's the max I can do? So that's what I've been putting in.
How much is in there now?
$360.
Great. What is your game plan in terms of like right now, you're making a lot of money together. You've got these kids. You said like, when can I retire? Sort of like how you started. What are your hopes for retirement? Like how much longer are you going to be working? Is this a business that you could continue to be self-employed for many years? Like what do you think is your game plan?
I think our game plan, we would like to try to retire in 5 years, but I don't know if that's realistic.
Okay. So you want to be like, okay, the high school kid is basically done, right, almost done. Retire in 5 years. And will either of you, well, you won't be, but is he entitled to any pension?
No.
Look at her. No. Okay. So then in 5 years, you stay where you are in North Carolina, you move somewhere. I mean, everyone moves to North Carolina for retirement. You're already there. So do you own a home?
We do.
How much is it worth?
About, I would say $1,000,001.
Wow. Look at you. Good shot. What about the mortgage? Any mortgage remaining?
No.
Mm-hmm. Would you stay in this $1.1 million sprawling campus of yours?
No. So I think we would like to get closer to the beach. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, we also have an investment property.
Tell me about that. Let's do that first. Hold on a second. Investment property. How much is that worth?
$400,000.
And is there a mortgage on that?
No.
You don't like debt, do you?
No, we don't.
JJ is anti-debt. So you have these two, like you've got $1.5 million worth of real estate, right?
Right.
And so in 5 years, would you keep the investment property?
So I'm actually thinking we would sell our primary home because we don't need this size house once the kids are gone, and we don't need to be in the schools and all of that. So we would be open to selling the primary home and then possibly just kind of going over to the investment property to stay there for 2 years. So we can make the capital gains on that.
Yes. I love this plan. Do you hear me going? Do you hear the excitement in my voice, Mark? It's so good. So essentially in 5 years, that's why I'm asking you about would you work anymore? Would you keep your business up and running or not?
I think mine is fine because it's flexible. And, fortunately I get to kind of pick and choose how I work. So I have longevity there. It's my husband, the poor guy.
He's done.
He's so burnt. So how's
he going to grit out 5 years?
I think he would love to do it in less than that. I just don't think it's realistic.
Forget it. We're not letting him do that. Okay. So, but in 5 years, let's just think about this. We have your two, your let's say $1.5 million in pre-tax retirement. That's today. In 5 years, Mark, can you grow that at like 3%? Don't even grow it at anything. Don't go crazy with it. For all I know, we're going to have some horrendous bear market, and I don't want to be responsible.
Which we're scared of, actually.
You've got that thing. It's good to be scared. It's good to be scared at the top. So let's say that there's $1.5 million in 5 years at 3%. Mark, what's it worth?
1.7.
Okay, fine. So we have 1.7. I'm being very conservative. We have 1.7 million in pre-tax retirement, whatever there is in the Roth. Not too much, but it's fine. There'll probably be, since you're putting money away, both of you, right?
Right.
30, 69. I think there's probably going to be $2 million in these accounts. We'll get back to JJ in just a minute. If you would like to come on the air with us, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and of course, check that box. Mark does everything else. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money show, where we are answering financial questions. Sometimes they're big life questions that happen to touch upon your money. If that's you, if you need some help, don't worry, we are here for you. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live, just check the box. Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. That comes out every Friday. Mark does a great job of compiling the stories you may have missed. Right now, let's get back to JJ from North Carolina. Then we're going to have this $1,000,000 from your primary. Did you buy it really cheap, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, we got in before the big
boom.
Yes.
What's your cost basis on this house?
We'll be just shy of the the 500,000
okay.
capital gain.
Okay, good. And you'll gin up. There's no one from the IRS listening. Anyway, there's no one working there anymore. You can gin up enough expenses against that. We built this playroom, whatever. Okay,
Right.
So you can really clear $1,000,000 is what I'm saying.
Close
You'll pay
to it, right.
about ish. Okay, so then we've got $3 million, and then when you think about being self-employed in 5 years, and you choose what you want, would we then reduce you to more like 80?
I would say so.
Okay. So then we'll have that. How much do you think you'll need to spend?
So realistically, if we get rid of the primary home
Yep.
and we just have the townhouse, realistically, we can get that to about 6,000
Oh, okay.
per month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And what if these kids, they go to grad school, they're on their own, or like what happens then?
On their own.
Oh, look at you. Okay. So, Mark, I wonder if Mark's going to have a different opinion about this. Do you think, Mark, we should go through the rigmarole? We only have 5 years to go.
No.
No, we're not doing the whole Roth thing. I agree.
No, in fact, I would probably start building up a brokerage account.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so
I mean, he should switch his contributions to Roth through his job, but as far as she's concerned, brokerage.
Okay, so what we're talking about here, JJ, is that we're sensing that, at 57, you're done. You have 80 grand coming in self-employment income. I don't think it's really worth it for you to go through the whole pain in the ass of like moving your SEP, moving it into a solo 401. Forget about it. Do nothing. Do nothing. Keep doing your SEP IRA. It's fine. Your husband, he should make his contribution all Roth. Do you have money in the bank, like cash accounts?
Yeah. So we have about between the high yield savings and checking about 120.
So I think what I would suggest, and Mark is echoing this, is that instead of you now pushing money into a Roth, let's have your husband do the Roth. You've got plenty of money that's been pre-tax, but we would love it if you could create a brokerage account. It could be very mellow. If you're nervous about market movements, you could have a 50-50, 50 stock, 50 bond, or even like 40% stock and 50% bond and a cash account, and like just build that up. We'd like you in 5 years to have a chunk of money built up in addition to that cash account. And that would be a brokerage account. So whatever is building up in your cash account right now, maybe that's probably happening because, some extra money comes in, you just throw it in there. But now we'd like you to be a little bit more considerate of the idea of building a brokerage account. It may not work 100% of the time. In other words, if he goes to all Roth, your cash flow is not going to be as good. But if, for example, you're like, okay, 1 year I'm going to make it 120, but next year it's 140. If you have a little extra money, let's open a brokerage account and start getting going. I also would very much encourage you and your husband to look into his current 401k plan and see if they will accept a rollover from the old plan and consolidate everything, because this is a pain in the neck to have 4 accounts.
Got it. So that's a great point about the brokerage. We were actually just talking about this. Since he works for a financial institution, all of the trades, especially if we're buying individual stocks, like everything has to get approved. So it just seems like, just such a hassle. But would you recommend just doing like ETFs or mutual funds?
Totally. When you work in financial institutions, of course, they have this whole like annoying rule about like, well, we have to look at everything, but they usually waive it if you're just in index funds.
Okay.
And so that would be fine. Or, by the way, you can buy index funds in their accounts as long as they're waiving all of their horrible fees that they usually levy.
Okay.
Okay. So that's something to look into. But I mean, I don't think they'll have a problem with like a brokerage account with, 3 exchange traded funds that are market based funds. They don't want you to do something where there could be a conflict, where they have, material and non-public information that your husband would have access to. So make it as easy as possible. ETFs or just plain old mutual funds, zero cost ish, and I wouldn't worry too much about, at the end of the day, worrying about your SEP being pre-tax. We're going to get the money out of these accounts. We're going to have to, because we're going to need to, essentially start pulling money out when you guys are, 59 and 60. And we're going to start pulling money out of these pre-tax accounts and using it to live on. But you don't spend that much money. And at $6,000 a month, I think you'll be okay. You'll get Social Security eventually. And, as long as we don't see your expenses start to balloon up. But I think that's highly unlikely given the balance sheet you've just presented to us, which is essentially I have no debt. I own my real estate outright. And I guess the only other thing I would just caution against is that you'll have this chunk of money from the selling of your primary residence, right? It's going to help you a lot in just bridging the years from, say, 60 to 70, okay? But you'll blow a hole through your plan if all of a sudden you sell your investment property and decide you want to spend another $1 million on a house.
We don't.
It will, okay, because that is what will absolutely put us into the danger territory. Who knows? Your burnt out husband may want to do something else later because you're going to be very young and your kids are young and they're taken care of. So, again, if he could be just the guy who wants to go surfing, but that's going to get boring. So, I think that it's also possible, as you do something and it's fun, if he can find something fun, it's great for him to be engaged as well.
Right. So then do you recommend, so at 57, we wouldn't want to take anything out because we don't want to pay the penalty. So starting 59 and a half, we start pulling from his pre-tax.
We might pull some money out of his pre-tax and get some money out of there between 60 and 70. And are you guys both in good health right now?
Yes.
You hesitated. I got nervous.
What I'm really concerned about, we have Alzheimer's is very strong in my family. And my mom just passed recently, so we want to live life now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Terrible disease. No, don't be sorry. It's a terrible disease. And I understand that. And I think that that's very smart. So why don't we do this? First of all, we'll stay in touch. But I think that making your game plan one that allows you to enjoy your life, within reason, you're not going to go crazy.
Right.
Let's make some determinations about whether your Social Security claiming strategy shifts once you have a little more information about yourselves. If everything's going great and you're feeling good and blah, 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 great. If all of a sudden, you have a diagnosis that's not great, then we make a different decision. Maybe you claim Social Security at not 70, maybe it's 67. It really depends on you guys. And so I completely understand when you have this kind of, this autobiography, you have your story, you have an experience of living with something that's very difficult, and that influences what you choose to do next. So I think within reason, I think you're totally on track to do this. Even with that extra bit of information, what I would say also is that also would argue to me that let's have some flexibility. Let's build a brokerage account, make it nice and easy. You'll add if you start doing it now, when you sell your primary residence, even if there's just $100,000 that's sitting in that brokerage account in 5 years, you'll add the $1 million, and then you'll have a basis for making different decisions. If you have a financial question, it's so easy to get a few different answers. Go to JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and we'd be delighted to help you out. It's Jill on Money.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, trying to help you wade through December and answering your financial questions. If you've got one, go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Here's an email from Thomas. I am 41. My spouse is 38, and I've got questions regarding our current investment strategy. Okay, so 41, 38, they work full-time, 2 kids that are 7 and 5. They make $250,000. They have a bunch of money saved. 401k, 1.1 million. Brokerage account, 22 grand. Roth, 50,000. HSA, 30,000. Home is worth $1.1 million. They've got a mortgage at 6% interest. They've got 529 plans, about 30 grand. High yield savings, 80 grand. We started the 401k about a dozen years ago. We've been maxing them out for the past 8 years. We lowered our 401k and now only contribute up to the company match, up to 5%. By doing that, we've freed up some money for our brokerage account, into which we contribute $1,200 monthly. Our plan is to continue this and increase our monthly contribution to our brokerage to $2 grand starting next year. They both max out their Roths. They started doing that a couple of years ago. We've always maxed out our HSA. Our goal is to have flexibility. We both want to retire from full-time work in 15 years. They're so young. 15 years, my goodness. Okay. And earlier if they could. They're open to working part-time and early retirement to cover insurance, health care. They spend monthly about 10 grand. They don't have pensions. They've got, Social Security at age 67 for him, 3,500 for her, 3,600. Are we on track to meet our goal of possible early retirement? Should we consider a Roth 401k? We contribute an extra $500 a month towards our mortgage. Is this a wise strategy, or should their funds be invested elsewhere? Remember that the mortgage is 6%. Okay, Mark, here's a couple of things that I'm noticing. I would not put as much money into your brokerage. What about these 529s? These kids are not so young anymore. It's 7 and 5. Like, if you really want to fund their education, instead of putting $2 grand a month into the brokerage account, I would do like 1,000 in the brokerage and 1,000 into 529. So that's my number one thing. I wouldn't put money $500 on the mortgage. I would just free that up and either add it to the 529 or again split it between the 529 and the brokerage. They've got so much money already, Mark, in pre-tax. I'm kind of considering the Roth 401k. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's a given. That's a given. And like you said, the 529s, if that's a priority, they need to get cranking on those.
Yeah, they really do. Are they on track to meet their goal of possible early retirement? Remember, they're spending 10 grand a month, which is not nothing. So 15 years. It's so hard for me to do this, Mark, because it feels like so much for someone who is 38 and 41 years old could change in 15 years. But do you think that for the 15-year time horizon, they're kind of doing what they should be doing?
Yes, they're doing what they should be doing. Is that going to generate $10,000 a month in 15 years? Borderline.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I need more information. I'd love for you to come on the air with us, because what I really want to find out is what is the priority on education? And what is the amount of money we really could count on you being able to generate in a early retirement scenario? Would you be working from, age, you said 15 years, but 52 to 62? Would you be willing to work from, age 52 to 59? We need a little bit more information. I'm not sure. So get back in touch with us. Okay. Samantha, 27 years old. Amazing. I love getting 27-year-old questions. Okay. Samantha works in sales, 100% commission-based. Based on my annual pay, I'm reaching the point where I'm feeling financially comfortable enough to explore purchasing a home. However, my monthly income is so inconsistent that it's really hard to figure out the kind of mortgage that she'd be comfortable with. She says, I am guaranteed to bring home $5 grand pre-tax each month. But then every 4 to 6 months, there's a larger commission check. So it's 60 grand a year, but then essentially another 100 at least in commission. She said last year her income was 180. This year it's going to be 325. Oh my God. I've got 32 grand in a high yield savings account, 140 grand in stock market. Current rent, $2,200 a month. Oh my God. How do you determine a monthly mortgage home price when my pay is so inconsistent? I don't feel comfortable taking my monthly average for the year because sometimes it's 6 months until I receive those commission checks. Am I better off continuing to rent and investing my commission checks in the stock market, which has been earning a 14% return, I'm sure, over the last 5 years? All the information out there is really focused on those with consistent pay. Any advice for saving, purchasing a home with inconsistent pay is helpful. Thank you so much. I love the show and your advice. Okay. Love you, Samantha. 27 years old. I'll tell you where I'm leaning. I'm leaning like build up that investment account, because what I really want to understand is, what's the benefit right now for you to buy? It doesn't seem like it's so great. You're a single person. It's fine, but like your life could change a lot over the next few years. And I love that you're channeling all this cash flow into the markets and being able to invest and be really prepared to buy when things settle in. I wonder if your income might become more range bound. I mean, the way that mortgage companies look at it is they're going to say, what's the last 3 years been? And they will average it out. If you're dying to buy something, it doesn't sound like you are, but if you were, then what we would do is we would just make sure that you would have a year of mortgage and expenses set aside in a cash account before you actually started doing this, and that every year you would make sure you had that to kind of bridge the gap for the dry spells. Mark, do you think Samantha should buy a house? $2,200 a month in rent.
I mean, I'm not going to say she should, but if she wants to, I have a feeling that she can. I mean, I know her income is, what she calls inconsistent, but she's consistently bringing in at least $5,000 every single month. There's a lot more questions I have, I tried to get her on, but no go.
No go? Oh, we want you to come on so badly. I think you could, but I would delay it unless you're like stumbling on something and you're like, oh my God, this is the greatest deal in the world. And then get back in touch with us, but we'd love to have you on. You're listening to Jill on Money. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are here trying to help you make better, sometimes it's just less bad or less emotional financial decisions. So if something's going on in your life and you need a little assistance, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button, which is in the upper right-hand corner, no matter where you navigate on the website. While you're there, check out all the other content that lives there. I've talked about our podcast, Jill on Money, the podcast, the Money Watch podcast, our blog. If you miss any part of this show, you can always go back and click the radio tab. We've got videos and we've got resources. And if you're looking to make a big change in your life, you may want to check out my book, The Great Money Reset. That's the book that I wrote after listening to all the different transitions all of you have made in your lives. So check it out, The Great Money Reset, 10 Bold Steps to Turn Chaos into Opportunity. Right now, let's get to an email. This is from Rachel. Hi, Jill. Let me start by saying I'm so glad that I subscribed to Jill on Money and I listen on YouTube. I retired in 2024. I'm 60 years old, single, no kids. I need your help with a withdrawal strategy from my retirement account. She's got a federal pension of $71,000. Wow. Right now, the pension is higher because she gets that supplement until age 62. So right now, instead of her 71, she's getting about $100,000. After 62, the pension drops down to 71. And then she writes, at that time, at age 62, when she's receiving $71,000, I will need to tap into my thrift savings plan to bridge me until I take Social Security at either 65 or 67. My Social Security at age 67 is $3,800 a month. She's got $1.3 million in a traditional thrift savings plan, 75 stocks, 25 bonds, $8,000 in a high-yield savings account. I own my home. The mortgage is $430,000. The interest rate is 5.6%. My monthly income is enough to cover my monthly expenses, so $5,300 a month expenses. She'd like a little more, like $1,500 a month more. She says, I plan to tap into my retirement savings for major house repairs or a new car when needed. Okay, question. Do I really need to do Roth conversions? Can I simply withdraw $25,000 a year from my thrift savings plan and save whatever I don't spend? The exception would be the years when I need more for house repairs or maintenance. Or I thought about withdrawing $150,000 right now, paying the tax for 3 to 4 years in a row to create my own cash bucket. The hope here would be to reduce the amount of required minimum distributions at my age 75 and those taxes in the future. But if I make the withdrawals, where would I put the excess money that I don't need? What's the best withdrawal strategy? I feel like I should make some now before I start Social Security at either 65 or 67. Most financial planners would like me to roll over the majority of my thrift savings plan into an annuity or a structured note or allow them to manage it completely. And I'd like to manage my own money. Thank you very much. I added that. Thank you very much. Your thoughts. Okay. So, Mark, does Rachel need to do Roth conversions? I don't think so. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I would just withdraw. I mean, maybe in the beginning, take out a little bit more than necessary, just to kind of have some cash on the sidelines, just in case.
I wouldn't mind that either. And by the way, why are we talking about 65 or 67? If you're in good health, I'm kind of thinking that maybe you can wait till 70, and then we can start taking some money out. And so when you said 25 grand, I'd probably take 50 grand. I would take 40, let's say 40 grand a year is what I would take out starting now. And, have it available for you. You're going to, you're going to be in a high-ish tax bracket. If you want to stay in the 22% bracket or the 24% bracket, you can take some money out. You can overdo it a little bit. You can take some more out, but I wouldn't go above the 24% bracket. You are going to be there probably, in the 22-ish range. I guess that, you have your pension right now, till 62 is 100 grand. So it's going to be hard to stay in 22 with that. But I would take more like 50 grand a year, not 25, 40, 50 grand a year. And I would really think, unless you are not in good health, I would think about 70. And I would take these withdrawals out, get the money out. I would manage it myself, the thrift savings plan, as long as you're comfortable with it. And I might reduce my allocation from 75-25, maybe more to 50-50 as you start pulling money out, but kind of up to you. And I would get the money out and pay for the things you need to pay for, bridge the gap, and open a investment account just in your own name. And you can do that at any of the big brokerage accounts and go to sleep at night. Seems good to me. I don't think I would do much more. Would you, Mark?
No annuity.
No annuity. N-A, no annuity. Okay. Lily says, I have IRA accounts at both T. Rowe Price and Charles Schwab. The stocks that I own at T. Rowe are not being managed. My bonds at Charles Schwab are being managed. I've been advised to combine everything at Schwab. My question is, should I actually keep my IRAs in one place, or is maintaining two accounts fine? I mean, look, it kind of depends on you, Lily. If you feel like you want to pay up to have Schwab manage the stocks that you have at T. Rowe, and you'll have to pay some fee on that. But if you're just fine managing it separately, then that doesn't seem like a bad thing at all. You don't have to combine. We always say combine because it's easier to manage. But if Schwab's just managing the bonds and you've got a bunch of stocks and you're not really trading them and it's not costing you anything, maybe I would just leave as is. If you're pondering a big decision in your life and it happens to touch upon your financial life, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Write us a note. If you'd like to join us live, just check the box. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show. Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, the program that is answering your financial questions one fabulous listener at a time. And I mean fabulous. You are all the reason why this show exists. It is not about me. It is not about Mark. It is not even about anyone else involved in this program. It's about you. We are here to help you make better and in some cases just less emotional financial decisions. And I say that acknowledging that each of us is always prone to a little bit of excessive thought when it comes to our money. It's totally normal. That is human nature. And so if you're struggling with that, you do not have to struggle on your own. We are here to help. All you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. JillOnMoney.com. Just bookmark it. And while you're there, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, there is a Contact Us button. When you click that button, a form will pop up. That is the email that we receive. If you are shy, give us plenty of details because we don't have the opportunity to ask you all of our nosy follow-up questions. Otherwise, just check the box and Mark will arrange to have you come on the air live with us. And again, we can change your name. We can anonymize you. Don't worry. Okay, right now, let's get to an email. This is from Shirley, who writes, if you have high credit card debt, would it make sense to get a personal loan at a lower interest rate to pay off the debt? Surely it would make sense, but I really wish we had a lot more information about you. We want to make sure that whatever route that you are choosing to pay down this credit card debt, that it makes the most sense. We've often heard from people who have money sitting in a stock and they refuse to sell the stock to pay off the debt. And we often have people who have the ability to tap a home equity line of credit, which may offer more flexibility or a better rate than a personal loan. I really suggest that you get back in touch with us with all the details of the personal loan so that we can help determine if that's the best course of action for you. If you're wrestling with different strategies about which is the best way to pay down debt, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money show, and we are talking to you about whatever is important in your own financial life. Now, sometimes you listen to the program and it might feel daunting. You might hear some people who've got a ton of money, but we also talk to people who don't have so much money. We have people who are retiring. We have people who are just starting out in their careers or starting their families and need help with 529 plans. We don't really care. If you have a question and you take the time and energy to go to our website, to JillOnMoney.com, and you click that Contact Us button, you write us the note, then we're going to do our level best to get back in touch with you and to help you out. Right now, let us talk to Michael, who joins us from California. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Jill and Mark. I'm good. Thanks so much for having me on.
What's shaking? What can we do for you?
Well, I'm hoping you can help me and my family. We're going through the process of getting my parents' affairs in order in terms of their estate planning docs. We realize they don't have much in place already. So just as they're getting into their older years, into their mid-70s, we're trying to see what we need to do. We've started the conversations, but just feels like there's a lot to navigate and wanted your set of eyes and ears on this to see what you can suggest.
You're a good child if you are doing this, because it's
We're trying,
right? Is it a little? So, how did you approach it? Was there resistance to the conversation?
Yes, and yes, yeah, all the above.
What did you do to open up? Like, oh, we're here. It's we're here for dinner. Oh, let's talk about your death.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, how'd you do this?
And that's kind of how it's come up for years. The main thing we've been talking about for a long time is getting them to move into a home that's more conducive for them. It's been the house they've had for 40 years. We grew up in. We just want something that's maybe single story, less to manage. So they've been kind of hemming and hawing on that. So that's kind of been the main focus. But now more recently, it's what are your affairs? How much money do you have? are you good? My mom's health isn't the best and hasn't been. So the concern is, do they have money to help her if she needs advanced care in the future? So kind of for years, I've joked with my dad, who's very financially savvy, always handled their money. I said, you could have $10,000 or $2 million. Which is it? And he would just laugh. I said, no, really, where in the middle are we? Are we good? Are you taken care of? So.
Okay. Amazing that you're having these conversations. So that's number one. Are you the only child or do you have siblings?
I have siblings. So my parents had 3 children. I'm the youngest. I have 2 older sisters. And sadly, one passed about 3 years ago.
Oh, no.
Pretty young. Yeah, with children. So that kind of adds another layer here as we talk about not just what their needs are, but in the future, where they want their estate to go, what they want to happen. So it's kind of another thing to navigate here.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that loss. Oof, that's a lot. I mean, of course, it's
Thanks.
also a reason to make sure you get your parents to do whatever they want to do, right?
Exactly.
So what have you found out so far?
So my dad now has been a little bit more forthcoming in terms of kind of where some money is, kind of bulk amounts. I know what their monthly income looks like. So I know enough to feel better, where it's like, all right, their cash flow seems okay. They have some money for a rainy day fund, but just don't know how much more they may use or where it's all invested.
They're in their 70s. Mom's health is not great. Is dad managing the money on his own, or does he have a broker or an advisor?
I think it's all on his own at this point. Yep.
What's the monthly income? Is it Social Security, pension? What is the basis of their income?
Exactly. So it's my dad's Social Security, my mom's, and my dad gets a small pension from a previous job.
Okay. And how much is that total?
It looks like it's around $5,600 total.
And what are their expenses right now?
Got to be less than that. The house is paid off. They have 2 cars that I don't believe they have payments on. So it's really just the insurance, property taxes, groceries, medical appointments, all those types of things. So I don't know the exact expense, but I believe it's less than what they're bringing in.
Did your father tell you how much money he has invested and, more importantly, whether it's in retirement or non-retirement accounts?
The first part he's alluded to. The second part, I'm still trying to figure out where everything is. He says he's close to the $500,000 mark.
And the house is paid off. What do you think the house is worth?
It's between $300,000 and $350,000.
Are they on board with selling this and moving?
I do think they're both on board with it emotionally, but the physicality of them taking action. And I mean, for years now, my mom said, I can't imagine packing this house up and moving. And we said, you're not the one doing it. We'll be doing it. You just have to say what goes and what gets thrown away. So I don't know what it will take to kind of get them over the hump and take the action to do it.
And the $500,000 in investments, the fact that they're in their mid-70s and mom's health is not great, is not a ton of money. Are we sure that's the actual number, or do you think that there could be more?
I think that's what he said in terms of what's invested. Do they have other money in other accounts? Possibly. I've been getting more out of my mom. Does she have any accounts just in her name? What has both their names on it? So there may be some more hanging out there. I just don't have exact numbers.
And do they have wills right now?
No. I assumed they had one from 30 years ago when we were children, but they both said, no, we don't think we've ever done that.
Are they willing to sit down with an estate attorney?
They are. So that's kind of the conversations we've just had. So we were involved with my grandmother's estate almost 10 years ago. So the same attorney who helped with that is able to kind of get back on track. And she has the kind of history knowledge of issues from that now are kind of not creeping up, but part of our consideration now. So we've just gotten those conversations going. I've reinitiated that interaction. So we're kind of moving forward, but I feel like this should have happened, obviously, forever ago.
Of course. Okay. But now it has happening. It is happening. So you're going to get that process going. Now, here's the good news for you. If they're comfortable with you sitting in on this, are they living local or are they somewhere else?
They're local to my sister, but I'm further away.
So either you or your sister has to be in this meeting. It's like you need another set of ears and eyes. It's like going to the doctor with them. But the good news is that the process of sitting down with an attorney will force the issue, because they're going to have to say, because what's going to happen ahead of time, you can tell them this. Before we meet with the lawyer, before you and Sissy meet with the lawyer, here's what you're going to need. You've got to bring an account statement for every account you have, every investment account, every retirement account, every bank account. You need to bring a copy of your insurance policies. You need to have, make sure that the house, like you have the deed somewhere so we know where it is. There's no mortgage documents, obviously. They need a list of everything. And so chances are your parents don't know this off the top of their head. So it's going to force them to go get that account statement. And that's a good thing, because you and your sister need to get all that contact information. You're going to need to know, like, the names and the addresses and the contact information for all of these institutions, right? And it's going to be, that's part of the process. So this is one of the reasons why I think going to an attorney is very helpful, because they have to get organized, right? And then you can say to them also, before you get to the meeting, you should say, like, there may be some jewelry, there may be something you want to go to someone, like, you'll have stuff, and you'll want to know if that should go to someone. If it's like, oh yeah, your mother's like, I want my engagement ring to go to my surviving daughter. Maybe that's something important to her. We'll get back to Michael in just a moment. And by the way, I love these inter and intra-generational questions. I think that they are all over the place. We're hearing more and more about people helping their adult children, helping their aging parents. If you need some assistance in navigating either one of those or your own situation, go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live, just check the box. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, where we are trying to help you make better financial decisions. Even if you think that you know the answer, if you say, oh, I know what she's going to say, I really do encourage you to go to our website and have a conversation with us. Sometimes we uncover something in your own life that maybe you had not even contemplated. That's also part of your whole planning process. So get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live, just check the box. Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, don't forget to check out our weekly newsletter. It is free. You can subscribe to it directly on the website, and we'd love to have you get that newsletter because it will also entitle you to receive the blog that I write. And I use that blog just to think through issues of the day. Sometimes they're questions that you have raised to us, and I use it as the basis of a blog post. So sign up for the free weekly newsletter, and you'll get the blog post as well. Both are free. Right now, let's get back to Michael from California. Your deceased sister's kids, are they minors or are they older?
All under 18. They're all minors.
Is it your sister's husband who now is taking care of them, the survivor?
Correct.
And your parents have a good relationship with him?
They do. I mean, they live very close by too, and that's kind of one other consideration here that I didn't know if you had input on. But the house that my brother-in-law and those three nieces and nephews live in, my mom actually holds the mortgage to the house. That all, that all happened during my grandmother's estate. So that's kind of not a sticky situation. It was all done legally. There's documents which I've just reobtained to know what's what. So at least now I know what the mortgage amount was, when it started, how much time's left. But that was actually kind of the impetus of me kind of getting some of this going, thinking, what if mom does need a lot more care? What if they need more money? Her money's tied up in this mortgage, which she thought when my sister was alive, hey, that's great. It gives them a low interest rate. I get a little money on my money. It works for everyone. But now it's kind of like years later, doesn't make the most sense for her.
Right. And how much is the outstanding balance right now?
It should be about 100,000.
So here's what I think. There's a few things here. So I think like in this and by the way, you'll bring that, your sister will bring that document also. An estate attorney is going to want to know, like, are you holding any mortgages? Is there any money due to you? And now there's this 100,000. And so, and if something happened to your mother right now, I'm not sure what happens to that mortgage.
That's kind of my question. So I think it was done just in her name. So we're talking about what documents should be done now to get my dad on there too.
Right.
If my mom, So all those details.
So an attorney will certainly walk you through that. So I think that
Yeah.
you're doing exactly what you should be doing here, Michael, because at this point, you need to get a sense of like everything that's there. Like, listen, for all we know, your father's like, oh, I have $500,000 in investments. Oh, I also have $500,000 in the bank, which changes, right? Because that's sometimes people will say, oh, that's not investments. That's like, my safe money. But I think it's important to get this part of the process done, which will then guide you towards the next part of the process, which is what do we do if mom needs more care, right? And I mean, I think right now, their expenses are less than their income, which is great. But if she were to need more care, obviously you'd start to eat into that $500,000 of investments. And so the issue to really consider right now is, well, depending on what mom needs, could she plow through that $500,000, leave dad with nothing? And it wouldn't be nothing. There would be some amount of money, but like there has to be a plan for this is what I'm saying. And I don't think we have enough information to create the plan, but I do think you're about to have the information because once they go through this process, if you and your sister are on board, then you will be able to kind of get a sense of really where they stand. Now, are you and your sister, are you guys close?
Same page with all of this.
Okay, great. Are you both in similar financial situations? For example, if something happened, if mom's health went south and you started eating into this, would either or both of you be able to help them out?
I think that's certainly a possibility. We'd want to be available to do that. So my sister has 3 kids, all going through college, so she definitely has more of a strain. But we would both obviously do what we could and needed to do.
Okay, got it. I mean, that's important. So I think we need more information. And when you say that mom's health isn't good or going into a different place, are you thinking right now that they need to not just go into a house, but go into more like an assisted living? Or is that not yet the place where they are?
It's all potential. So I mean, she has a setback, and we think maybe that's the case, but then she kind of improves, and we think no, she just needs a better living condition. So it really kind of goes up and down.
I wonder, would they be open to, instead of buying another place, renting for a while?
I don't know. I mean, I've thought there's definitely places nearby to say even get a 2-bedroom something nearby so you're close to everybody, make it easy access in and out. I've thought that.
Because also then you free up this money from the house, right? The $300,000. If they rent something in their area, I don't know how much it would cost them, but there's things that they wouldn't have to deal with, which is like upkeep of house, which costs money, property taxes, which cost money, the homeowner's insurance, which is going to be more than renter's insurance, all of these things. It might be, and again, I'm not sure we can do this all at once. I think like number one is like, let's get this estate plan started. And then you start to really try to focus on like, well, what would it cost you to rent something? And maybe, I mean, nobody wants to move twice. I get that. Like, certainly you don't want to do it in your 40s, your 50s, but in your 70s, it just gets harder and harder. My fear is that if you don't do something soon with them, then you're done. Because once they're in their 80s, it's really hard. It's just really hard to get them out. And so now's the time when dad's feeling okay and he is kind of savvy about the money. And you say, Dad, look, something happens to mom and she needs some care. You need some help. If that happens, we're going to plow through this $500,000. So we've got to get the money out of the house. And one way to do that is for you guys to move and rent for a while and get your sea legs and see where things stand. And let's see if she's better off in a place that's easier. I don't know. Let's make it up. Let's say that the rent is, I don't know, $3,000 a month. What do you think it is? I don't know where they are. So give me a rental number that we think is reasonable.
I think probably less. It could be, I'd say between 2 and 3.
All right. So if it's $3,000 a month, even then, that is a very nice price to pay for the flexibility of if something else had to happen for mom. If something happened and we needed to bring some money in, like now you no longer just are confined to 500,000. Now we have 300,000 on top of that. So now we have 800,000. They're in their mid 70s. He's not drawing on this money anyway right now. And if we needed to pay for some care for mom, it was $1,000 or $2,000 a month, you'd have a pile more money that you could draw from. And I think what really has to happen at this point is while you're doing, I think you're exactly doing the order in the correct way, which is let's do this estate plan. this is going to reveal a lot because then you're going to have the actual numbers. If we're like shockingly surprised and it is $2 million, then the urgency is not nearly as necessary. But still, we just got to get a sense of what it is so we can plan. But if it is that $500,000 and some money from the house and some from the proceeds of the house, and then you can create a game plan that makes sense for them. I think you're doing what you need to be doing. And, how do they deal with guilt? Should we guilt them into some of this?
Believe me, that's been my challenge. I'm saying, hey, we're either going to have to deal with this now or in the future in terms of cleaning up the house, getting rid of stuff, make it easier on us now. Let's work together and make some progress now.
Obviously, you have had dealt with pretty significant death in your family with you losing your sister. And you can say, remember how horrible that was? It's going to be horrible when something bad happens. Let's tidy up what we can now, because the horribleness will be with us and we'll be able to focus on just feeling grief as opposed to freaking out about money.
Exactly right.
It's a very sticky situation, okay? And I completely understand that you feel a little anxious about it, but I think you're doing exactly what you should be doing. You're a good boy. You're a very good son. If you have a financial question, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are answering your financial questions. If you have one, if you are thinking about some big decision, sometimes you're contemplating a job. One job maybe has a pension, but it doesn't pay as much as an annual salary. How does that compare with a job that pays you a lot more without the pension? Maybe you're thinking about Social Security. Maybe you're comparing the benefits of a 529 plan with a plain old brokerage account. Maybe you're trying to decide, does it make sense to convert your old traditional retirement account into a Roth account? Whatever the issue that's going on in your life, we'd love to hear from you. Just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. And wherever you navigate on that website, there will be a Contact Us button in the upper right-hand corner. When you click that, a form will pop up. That's the email we receive. And if you'd like to join us live, just check the box and Mark will do everything else. It's so great. I understand not everybody wants to come on live, so we do read emails, of course. And this one is from Ellie, who writes, can you address travel spending? Yes, I would love to. It's one of my favorite categories of spending. All right. Ellie says, I'm in my mid-50s and my husband is in his early 50s. They travel 3 times a year to Europe to spend time with his aging parents for the last 5 years. Oh, it's an end-of-life timeline for his mom, who never saw Alzheimer's coming. I'd like to be kind, but it's expensive to rent Airbnbs on top of economy plane tickets. We have foregone family vacations for years except to visit his family. My family lives locally. There's also considerations for me to be the sole parent of 3 active teenagers while he's gone for over 50 days per year, potentially more going forward, even though since the pandemic, I don't work. Now he's preparing to quit his startup job and go on COBRA before finding private insurance. His savings are, she's saying his and not hers. You know what I mean? It sounds like, Mark, that they have very separate lives. Anyway, his savings are modest as his early salary has been used to cover costs. He recently bought a new car. I disagreed with this. My Social Security is larger than his. I've worked for more years. She means her future Social Security. College is covered by 529s. Covered by us and my parents who are now deceased. Okay. House is paid for. He's done a great job managing our portfolio with a major firm. To cover costs going forward, including healthcare, my husband is now asking me to take some money of the primary assets of my own inherited savings. My response has been that we can live off the dividends of our shared accounts plus my accounts and still have a lifestyle above prior expectations for another 30 years with a great safety net, but not enough to support expensive habits. My sense is that I may need to start working with a professional sooner than later for my own financial well-being. Can you help? I got a bad feeling.
I think that last sentence is the key.
Okay. Here's the thing. I think you should work with a financial professional right now. I am getting a really massive vibe that you guys are not on the same page. So here's a couple of questions to ask. Number one is, will your husband participate with this professional? Because if not, I don't know if this is going to work, right? I think you need someone, a fee-only planner who's not going to sell you anything, who's going to walk you through what you have, what's available, and the best path forward. Like you said, I mean, we're talking about an end-of-life timeline, but it may be that your husband cannot do exactly what he would like to do to take care of his parents. Does he have siblings who can help? Is there another way where he can maybe go, he can travel for some of it and then he can, come back and maybe he can cut down on the frequency of trips? I don't know what the actual situation is, but there's something lingering where I feel like because you guys are not on the same page, it is time to hire a professional, as in right now. You didn't mention any of the numbers that are associated with any of these accounts, but I don't love the sound of this, and your husband and you have to get on the same page. I think one way to do that, obviously, would be to seek the help of a fee-only financial planner. Okay. Christine is 67. She says, I'm still working and I've scaled back a lot. Can you tell me the benefit of moving my traditional IRA and SEP to a Roth at this time? Okay. I think you're talking about converting from your traditional IRA or SEP to a Roth. And you could do that if you had a pile of money to pay the taxes that are due. The benefit of doing this may be that you can, while you're making less money, maybe you're not even collecting Social Security, you can convert at a lower tax rate, income tax bracket than you would have just a few years ago. I'd have to know a lot more about you to understand whether or not this makes sense. Because again, you've got to have the money to pay the tax that you have that is due. And the big benefit of doing a conversion now is that you're able to do this, let's say between now and say age 75, when the government will force you to take money out of those traditional IRAs and SEP IRAs. So there's a great benefit of doing it. Whether you should depends on a lot of other factors. So get back in touch with us, Christine. Okay, Mary writes, online CDs. I need to purchase a CD, but I am petrified of doing so with an online institution. Even though they show higher interest rates, I want to spend, let's say, $20,000 to $40,000. I don't want to pay service charges or maintenance fees. I have no intention of an early withdrawal. I would appreciate your expert advice on these online-only banks. I don't want to lose my money. I mean, listen, Mary, if there is FDIC insurance associated with this online bank, you should be fine. You really should be. So I know it seems scary, but if you go to like one of these aggregation sites like depositaccounts.com, or if you go to bankrate.com, they'll pull together all the different CDs, okay? There's no CD that is going to be showing on their on these banks that is going to be non-FDIC insured. Okay, but if you feel better, you'll probably see that in a lot of these accounts, what they'll show you is there will be like a list of different companies, and some of them are going to be more familiar than others. I think that you can totally do this and you shouldn't be so scared. I would only make sure that you have FDIC insurance and then you should be fine. You really should be. Nothing else to worry about besides that. If you have a question that you'd like us to think through with you, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are talking about whatever is on your mind financially. Although we do answer a lot of your personal financial questions, I also want to remind you that if there's something going on in the world, in the headlines, and you're trying to make sense of it, just shoot us a note. We're happy to cover that. We do this a lot on our Money Watch podcast, which drops on the weekends, and we go deeper into an issue, especially for people who feel like they never really got the education that they wished they'd have with a lot of the cornerstone financial planning and economic concepts that come up every single day. So if that's you, get in touch with us. Just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you would like to talk through whatever's on your mind on the air with us live, just check the box, and Mark will do everything else because he's so fabulous like that. Right now, let's get to an email. This one is from Keith. I am having difficulty as to where to put my next dollars, either brokerage or Roth thrift savings plan. I'm not sure if I can retire early, maybe 57 or 58, but if I keep saving about $1,500 a month, I think that I can retire early at age 51. Okay, so Keith is 35 years old. And he says, I know from a tax perspective, the Roth is the way to go every time, but I want to hear your take of the pros and cons of a taxable brokerage account versus a Roth thrift savings plan. Now, listen up, Mark. You ready? Age 35, salary 67 grand, has got $100,000 in his thrift savings plan so far, 25,000 in a Roth. HSA is 13.5, high yield savings account and CDs about 20-something thousand. If I do 5% into a thrift savings plan, maxing out Roth IRA and HSA, it's $1,550 a month with a 5% match. I understand about paying taxes and dividends each year with a brokerage. So would that be dumb to invest in the brokerage instead of the Roth? Okay, Mark, HSA, Roth IRA, thrift savings plan. Is there a case here for the ability to put money in a taxable brokerage, and he's thinking about retiring at 57, 58?
That's the only reason why I think about the brokerage for early retirement. He's going to need money that he wants to get his hands on. If that's not part of the equation, I would say just stick to the TSP. I actually remember this guy. I know what he does. He's a federal worker, so he will have a pension down the road. Right. But, just knowing that he wants to retire potentially in his early 50s, that's where the brokerage comes into play. Right.
If you really said if you really can say I can hit it at 51, then have a little money outside. Then we don't have to do one or the other. Why don't we do both? Put a little in both and build that up. But I love the thrift savings plan. I certainly love a Roth. Okay. Mark, I love this. This is all in caps. So you know how anxious this person is.
There's been a lot of these lately.
Subject, market crash. Hello, Jill. I wanted your opinion. Do you think we're headed for a stock market crash? I worry we are heading for trouble. Thank you, John. Here's the problem. I don't know. Okay. I wish I could tell you that absolutely I know what's going to happen. I don't. And nobody does. The real issue here is that I think what you're asking me to try to divine is something that I wish we had somebody who could do this. I wrote about this a couple of weeks ago on the website. So everybody should actually go check out JillOnMoney.com under the blog section. There is an article there that I put up called Markets Peak, Time to Get In or Out. I mean, could the market crash? Absolutely. Do I know for sure when it will happen? No, I don't. Do you know how you can protect yourself against a crash? You can make sure you've done everything you need to do to get out of the way of it. What do I mean by that? So, John, are you still working? If you're still working, then make sure you've got your emergency reserve fund built up. Just do that. If you're not working and you're retired, your emergency reserve fund should be like 1 to 2 years. If you're really freaked out about what would happen in a crash, well, I would say then make sure that you have an allocation that's not too crazy when it comes to an exposure to stocks, and have 2 years of your expenses set aside. Besides that, I would also make sure that you are not overextended in some way with your spending. Are you, if you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do to protect? You know what? You really have to understand that if you've got a long life, especially when you're thinking about this, John, let's just say you're 55 years old, you're still working, you're going to retire in 5 years. You could live for another 30 years. So where do I think the top and the bottom is going to be? I have no idea. So I think it's very important to remember nobody is able to predict what happens in the short term. All of us know that if you stay invested over the long term, you're probably going to be okay. I don't know if you've got an allocation that is completely out of whack with what your actual risk tolerance is. So I'm going to encourage you, market crash, all caps. Take a deep breath and get in touch with us. Let's walk through what you got. Maybe there are some things you should do ahead of time, just in case. And the market doesn't have to crash. It could just actually be down. Remember, this year, the market was up beginning of the year, then down almost 20% by the time April came around, now up again. So could there be another move down? Sure. It doesn't have to be a crash. It could just be a plain old bear market. Also not fun. Okay? If you've got a question or you've got a concern or you want to talk through something going on in your financial life, just go to our website. It's JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, write us that note, and if you want to join us live, just check the box. You're listening to The Jill on Money Show. Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, where we are answering your financial questions. If you've got one, just go to the website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you would like to join us live, check the box. We'll arrange to bring you on the air live. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter, which comes out every Friday, a wonderful tune-up for this show. And if this show is not satisfying your need to hear Jill and Mark, well, there are two podcasts. One is called Jill on Money. One is called Money Watch, and they are right there on our website. You can subscribe right from that place. Now, this email that is closing out the show is a listener update from Andrew, and he writes, we were on the show in February, and we had lots of money, but continued anxiety. With your help, I'm stopping work next summer. We're moving, and we felt comfortable to push a little outside of our anticipated budget on a new house. The best news is that there's lots of room in the house, so if either of you find yourselves on Oahu, you'll have a place to stay. Thanks for the help in getting us to this point. It feels like the start of the next exciting adventure. Oh my gosh, what a great way to end the show. Because sometimes you guys are coming on the air with us to get permission to do the thing that seems so obvious to me and Mark. We'll look at the numbers and we cannot believe what good shape you might be in. And yet you are not allowing yourselves to take that next step. It's scary. I get it. But at some point, you've got to learn how to turn the faucet on. You've saved for your whole life, and now it is time for you to enjoy it. And don't you deserve that? We think you do. Okay, that's it. That is the program. If you want to get in touch with us, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer and king of all things web. And we always ask that you do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.